Welcome to the Game Plan, where today we are analysing the most improved players of season 2021 as voted by you, our fans. We're going to look at the top five, and number one is Melbourne fullback Nicho Hynes. Well, he's been the fullback for most of the year with Ryan Papenhuyzen sidelined. The stats that matter here: line break assists, third in the NRL, support plays second in the NRL, and he's handy with the goal kicking duties as well. He is fifth in terms of points scored in season 2021. Anthony Seibold, our expert analyst, joins us from Queensland. Seibs, Nicho Hynes, what a rise in his career this year.
Yeah, fantastic achievement by Nicho in 2021. His improvement that he's shown is significant. Obviously, I think some of that comes with more minutes on the field. Obviously, he's played a lot of fullback this year, but also filled in the halves. But I think the time on the field has helped him improve and gain confidence, and he's a proven performer over the 2021 season.
All right, let's break down Nicho Hynes' season this year and why he's been so good at fullback in the absence of someone like Ryan Papenhuyzen, who was one of the best players to start the year.
Yeah, so one of the things that I've seen is his kick returns. Obviously, he's got great ability to beat a tackle, but he's got fantastic skill. But the thing I like here is he comes to Tedesco, one of the premier fullbacks in the competition. A show and go to Addo-Carr, obviously has the ability to beat Tedesco on the inside. So fantastic kick return metres in 2021. The other two things I want to show is his ability to draw and pass and find the right pass out the back of shape. So this is against Penrith at Suncorp Stadium a few weeks ago. He combines with both Cameron Munster and Jerome Hughes exceptionally well. Now, this time he's created a 2v1. He's at the back of shape there. Remus Smith has gone on the inside shoulder of Brent Naden. There's Nicho Hynes at the back of shape. But just have a look at this skill and the ability to draw and pass against Rob Jennings, the left winger for Penrith Panthers. And that's on Melbourne Storm's right-hand side. So the next clip I want to show you is his ability to do that on the left-hand side. So there's Nicho again, filling in for Papenhuyzen as the fullback. This time, as I said, he's on the left-hand side. So his ability to get on the outside shoulder of Phoenix Crossland and draw draw in Kurt Mann's attention in and around Justin Olam is exceptionally well done. You'll see him here skip across, draws the attention of Kurt Mann and puts Justin Olam inside of Hymel Hunt there. So both sides of the footy, you can see his ability in and away. Think back to Billy Slater and his ability to be able to beat a defender on the inside or the outside. Nicho Hynes carrying the ball in two hands. So for all our young viewers at home, his ability to draw and pass and make the right pass and make the right decision to pass the ball to Justin Olam is because he's got the footy in both hands there. So as I said, fantastic ability to get across, draw the attention of Kurt Mann and put Justin Olam inside Hymel Hunt. So exceptional 2021 season so far. I think there's big things to come for Nicho over the next few weeks as well.
And Nicho Hynes, 34% of the votes in this category for most improved player. Why do you think he won it so comprehensively?
I think his consistency of performance has been outstanding. Obviously, Tedesco, Tom Trbojevic, Nathan Cleary, Cody Walker have had exceptional seasons, and Riley received so many plaudits for their performances and their ability to win games for their teams. But I think from a consistency perspective, Nicho Hynes has been the most consistent for the Melbourne Storm. So I think fans and supporters of our game, whether you're a Melbourne Storm supporter or just an NRL supporter, I think they would love the way that he plays week in, week out. He's never a 10 out of 10, but he's never below 7 out of 10. So his consistency in and around 7, 8, 9 out of 10 performance has been a real highlight for the Storm.
And one of the real highlights for the Parramatta Eels this year has been the rise of Isaiah Papalii. He came across from the Warriors at the end of last year and was basically a benchy, a bit of a fringe player when it comes to the NRL. He has forced his way into the Parramatta starting squad. Brad Arthur can't ignore his form. He's fourth in the NRL when it comes to post-contact metres, fourth in tackle breaks with 106. He's considered one of the buys of the year, Seibs. Have you been surprised by just how much he has improved this year?
I've been super surprised. Obviously, I've seen him play for the Warriors in the past, but his performances and the high level of performances that he's shown across the year for the Eels has been outstanding. He's really surprised me, as you said. I think he probably has surprised a lot of people. I know that the Parramatta Eels, from what I understand, got him at a very sort of cut price rate as well. So he doesn't take up a lot of their salary cap, but his performance has been exceptional. And one of the reasons why Parramatta are knocking on the door of the top four is Papalii and his performances, predominantly on the left edge, although he played in the middle against Melbourne Storm on Saturday night.
So let's look at some of the clips that you've highlighted and his improvement this year. He runs a great line, doesn't he, outside the Parramatta ball players?
He does, yeah, particularly Mitchell Moses. As I said, on the left-hand side of the Parramatta Eels, there he is hitting an inside line against the Penrith Panthers, 3 in defenders. So you'll see there Papalii going through the three in defenders inside shoulder off the pass of Nathan Brown. So runs a fantastic line, comes to the fullback in Staines. Again, he's a handful for the Penrith Panthers defenders. But we've seen this all year. This is an earlier game during the year. Again, combining with Mitchell Moses, Clint Gutherson. This time it's on the inside shoulder of the 2 in defender, which is this defender here for the Canberra Raiders. So he's got the ability to run inside shoulders with intent, and it's hard for the defenders to handle him. Again, as I mentioned on Saturday night against the Melbourne Storm, and Parramatta's fantastic victory against the Storm, he played as a middle forward. And again, this time he's on the right-hand side of the Parramatta edge there. But his ability in and away on Cameron Munster, who's a very good defender, to break the first line there shows why he's in the top 4 for tackle breaks and post-contact meters. He's a real handful. Again, whether he plays as a back row or as a middle forward, he's going to be a real weapon for Parramatta over the next few weeks going to the finals.
So he's one of the most destructive ball runners when it comes to the forwards. But if we go out to the wing of the Penrith Panthers, he's the most destructive ball runner in the game. Full stop. Brian To'o is a bit of a wrecking ball for Penrith. First in the NRL for run metres, averages 250 metres, yes, 250 metres per game. First in post-contact metres, fourth in tackle breaks alongside someone like Papali'i. Why do you think his game has come so far this year? He burst onto the scene a couple of years ago, maybe a lean year in terms of his standards last year, but he earned himself an Origin debut, and rightfully so this year.
I think physically he looks a lot more stronger and more powerful into contact. So as you said before, he's number 1 in the competition for post-contact metres and metres made. So whether it's the backfield for the Panthers, he carries exceptionally well on tackle 2, tackle 3 carries, but also he's a fantastic finisher. So anytime Penrith go to their left-hand side, he's able to finish the play. Whether it's a pass off Burden or the fullback in Edwards, he's exceptionally good finisher, not unlike Matt Utai many years ago for the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. So I think physically he's improved, and because he's improved physically, his work rate's improved, and he's a real handful for the Panthers.
And because of that, Penrith love to get him the ball as much as possible. You've got a clip here. Dylan Edwards could have taken this into the defensive line, but they quickly shift to him, and Brian To'o makes a break.
Yeah, so on transition, they try and get the ball to To'o. There you'll see he goes on the inside shoulder there of Keone Staggs, but he's a handful now. What they try and do, if teams kick away from him, they'll try and 2-pass shift to To'o out of the backfield there, or teams try and kick it and land it on his head. Now, if they try and land it on his head, that does slow up his ability to build momentum on his carries, but he's a real weapon in the backfield. The other way that he's a weapon for the Penrith Panthers is any attacking shapes, whether it's off scrum, set plays, when they're attacking the try line of opposition teams, he has that ability to finish in the corner exceptionally well. So you'll see here, a set play there by the Panthers against the Warriors. His ability to get across in the corner there and finish the play is as good as anybody in the competition. There you'll see what a fantastic finish there by the Penrith Panthers. Now, if you don't have a winger who can do that, who has the ability to withstand that defender coming across, then you leave a lot of 4 points on the field there. I think one of the things that Penrith have done exceptionally well this year is finish off any half opportunities or any line breaks, and Tohu is right at the very top for the Panthers. This is another example against the Roosters, obviously a quality opposition. You'll see that there's Cleary going cross field. Again, Cleary picks up Burton there, who's got great ability to come back on the inside. Good skill by Burton. But again, you'll see the finishing skills from Brian Tohu. This is an end on. So Brian Tohu sees the space there in the left-hand side corner, but there'll be a defender who comes across there from the Roosters, but he has fantastic ability. Now, that's something that they would work on during the preseason in particular. I know many teams take their outside backs, so their wingers, centres and fullbacks, to gymnastics centres, and they use the pits there that have the soft matting. And what they do is they use those those acrobatic skills to find 4-pointers during the preseason in gymnasiums, and that transfers to the fielding season. So fantastic job there to finish those try-scoring opportunities, but he's a real handful out of the backfield there, Zach. I wouldn't like to tackle him, that's for sure.
Yeah, neither would I. Fantastic insight as well, showing us, our fans and everyone watching this, that's the measures that players go to these days to ensure that they can make the difference on field. They can get the ball down despite being knocked by one or two defenders over the sideline. All right, the second Melbourne Storm player who features in the top 5 most improved players for this year. No surprise here, Jerome Hughes. Tries 9 for the year, 18 try assists, 13 line break assists, 11 forced dropouts, which is quite impressive as well. But we know he started his career as a fullback, Seibs, so 104 average run metres is no surprise. The thing that does surprise me is the fact that he had critics up until as recent as 12 months ago questioning whether he should remain halfback of the Melbourne Storm after taking over from the likes of Brodie Croft and Cooper Cronk. How has he developed into being one of the top, not only players in most improved players this year, but one of the top halfbacks in the game?
Yeah, he's very consistent performer. As you said, he came through the Gold Coast Titans under-20s as a fullback and also the Townsville Blackhawks in the North Queensland Cowboys system. And it wasn't until he went to the Melbourne Storm that he played for their feeder teams in the halfback position more regularly. So, again, as you said, a few years ago he was playing fullback when Billy Slater was out injured, but he moved to the halves. He's now a premiership winner, premiership winning halfback, which is something that some of the great halfbacks of our game have never had the opportunity to win a title. He's won that now, and his consistency in his performance is outstanding. As you said, his weapon, Zach, I think it's his running game. So his show and go and his ability to take the line on, I think comes from his years playing as a fullback. And this is an example against the West Tigers when they beat West Tigers by a cricket score at Sunshine Coast Stadium. There you'll see he goes through the middle third of the field there of the Tigers and comes through the other side. Exceptional try. But that's the ability to break a tackle. That's the ability to use his running game as a weapon. And, again, he's been really consistent at it. The other thing I like is his ability to combine with Cameron Munster, particularly on the last play. So this is the last play. And I'll pause it here. There's Jerome Hughes. So his first thought is always think, I'm going to take the line on. And if there's no run opportunity, that's when he thinks about passing short or passing out the back or kicking. So this time, again, he's looking for the run option first and foremost. He comes back on the inside shoulder of Takiaho there and, again, connects with a fantastic grubber kick, good skill execution there to put Munster away. The last one I want to show you is probably the improvement in his game that we've seen this year and probably last year as well, Zach, and that is his ability to execute his pass and find the right option with his pass. So as I said, he would think about running first every time he gets the football. But this, again, is Cameron Munster coming over to the right-hand side for the Melbourne Storm side. There you'll see Munster highlighted, and this is Jerome Hughes out the back of the shape there. So as I let this play, he's got some options here to pass the ball to. And again, he draws in the two-in defender there for the West Tigers and puts the back rower there for the Melbourne Storm away in Eisenhuth, who was playing centre in that particular time of that game. But again, his skill execution and his decision-making with his passes has been the big area that he's improved. He's always had a fantastic running game, even coming through the grades in Queensland Cup and under-20s.
So, Seibs, he was a premiership-winning halfback from last year with the Melbourne Storm, but one big thing has changed for Melbourne this year. No Cameron Smith, the most influential player in the game, potentially in the game's history. How tough would that have been for Jerome Hughes to get used to?
I think under the old rules, it would have been a lot tougher for Jerome Hughes to wear the number 7 without Cameron Smith there. But there's more chaos in our game. By that, I mean there's so many 6-agains in our game. There's a lot less stoppages. The ball on players is higher on average. So for Jerome Hughes, who likes to run first, he doesn't have to think as much about structure like a Cooper Cronk would have. So I think the game is very suited to him, but he's done an exceptional job. I think all the Melbourne Storm players have done an exceptional job without Cameron Smith. Brandon Smith and Harry Grant are fantastic replacements for Cameron, but Cameron's probably the best player of all time, particularly as a number 9. So, yeah, you're right. He stepped up this year along with some other players here at the Storm.
Okay, the 5th player, it's a bunny who's bounced into the top 5 most improved players in season 2021. A player that you've spent some time with when you were at Redfern. Seibs, Keone Kulmatangi, 3 tries, 27 tackle breaks. He is a destructive ball runner, just like we spoke about Isaiah Papali'i earlier. 1,191 post-contact metres, and he's getting through a heap of work this year, which was something he was criticised for in the past, Seibs.
Yeah, definitely. I think, one of Keone's areas that he needs to improve when he first came into the full-time squad was his physical ability. Repeat efforts, his changes of intensity, all the effort areas off the football. I think that's been what's been significant to his game over the last season and a half. He's added those physical attributes because he's always been a very, very skillful player. He came through the South Sydney Juniors with Cameron Murray. So they were the two kids from the South Sydney Juniors competition who were exceptional in that particular age group. So I love seeing him come on and develop. I think the coaching staff and the performance staff at South Sydney have done a fantastic job over the last 2 years in particular with Keone. And you'll see him, he's played on both edges and he's also played through the middle. So as you said there, Zach, physically he's improved a whole heap, but his skill level is first class. It's a very high level of skill. This is against the Panthers from 2 weeks ago. He combines very well with Adam Reynolds. You'll see him there, he popped out on the outside shoulder of the three-in defenders. So that's a set play. They would have seen that Matt Burton likes to jam close to the line. So he ran an outline of Adam Reynolds. He's got Latrell Mitchell pushing through on the outside shoulder and fantastic skill execution to make that pass. So there you'll see in traffic, it's a flick out the back to Latrell Mitchell, who scores the 4-pointer there for the Bunnies. So that's on the Rabbitohs' right-hand side. Earlier this year, he played on the left-hand side as a back row as well. This time, a little bit more, wider field position shape. There's Reynolds through to Benji Marshall. Now, this time, the hole that he's trying to run through is on the inside shoulder there of the two-in defender. So you'll see Keone there running with intent and inside shoulders. Obviously, Benji Marshall's got an exceptional ability to find the right pass. So he hits Kulmatangi short there, who finds Cody Walker on the inside of his right shoulder there and goes away and scores underneath the sticks. The last clip I want to show is against the Warriors from a few weeks ago. So again, playing through the middle, playing as an edge back row, close to the line, he's a real threat because he runs with great intent. So this is another example of that. Jumping there off the back of Damien Cook, close to the line, he's going to be a real weapon in the finals for the South Sydney Rabbitohs. But Kulmatangi's improvement is off the back of some physical improvements that I've seen within his game. So really good job there by young Keone.
And he caught the eye of Brad Fittler earlier this year, Siebes. He was brought into his Blues squad as an extra squad member. So how long do you think it'll be until we see him playing rep footy in the Origin arena?
Yeah, I think over the next 12 to 24 months, I think he'll force his way in. As I said, he's got great ability with regards to his attacking weapons. The area that he can still improve on is his defensive, role there as an edge back rower in particular. But I think I've seen enough in his performances this year to suggest that he'll play for the New South Wales Blues sooner rather than later. So big things there for the Bunny supporters, but he's done an exceptional job. But he's always had high levels of talent.
All right, they're the top 5 players or most improved players as voted by our loyal fans out there. But I want to know who your most improved player for season 2021 is.
Yeah, I can't disagree with the fans, Zach. I think Nicho Hynes this season has been exceptional. The thing I love about him is that he's shown incremental improvement over the last 5 or 6 years. He had 2 or 3 seasons in the lower grades there at Manly, playing under 21s and playing New South Wales Cup. He then went all the way up to Mackay, which is one of the North Queensland Cowboys feeder teams, played a season for Mackay Cutters in the Queensland Cup, then signed for Sunshine Coast in the Queensland Cup, played a season there, then had the opportunity to do a train and trial with the Melbourne Storm. So he's made the most of every opportunity that's come his way. Now, he's not someone who has become an overnight star. He's worked at his craft over the last 5 or 6 years. He's moved for his craft from being a Central Coast kid to the Northern Beaches, to North Queensland, to Melbourne, Sunshine Coast, then to Melbourne. And obviously, this year at the Melbourne Storm, he's been very, very consistent. So, I can't disagree with the fans there. He's been the most improved for mine, but it's an exceptional story for young players in the game to have a look at. Nicho, he's now in his mid-20s and he's had to work really hard over a long period of time and make a lot of sacrifices. So well done to Nicho.
And the big question is, Siebes, moving forward, I won't put this to you right now, but how does Craig Bellamy fit him into the Melbourne Storm 17 throughout this final series? Hopefully we'll know more in the next couple of weeks. Thank you so much for joining us from South East Queensland. Best of luck with the Knights this weekend.
Thank you, Zach.
And thank you for joining us for another episode of The Game Plan. We'll be back for more next week.